Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call our meeting to order. This meeting is being held remotely, as a meeting with a quorum of the public body physically present is not practical or prudent due to the state's declaration of a disaster due to the impacts of COVID-19. Everyone can hear me?
Yes.
We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
to the flag
of the
of the United States of America,
to the
and to the
republic,
republic for which it
for
stands,
which it stands,
nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
individual, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Megan, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, trustee Kucera,
Present.
trustee Lautner,
Here.
trustee Zora,
Here.
trustee Seidel. Here. Trustee Council is absent, and trustee Schumann.
Here.
President Pacipio.
Yes,
A quorum is present, Mr. President.
thank you, Megan. Okay, moving on to swearing in of paid on-call firefighters Matthew Carey and Christopher Soninka. Chief, did you want me to read the memo, or did you want to go ahead?
You can, it's up to you though.
Okay, thank you. Over the last few months, the fire department has had 2 more probationary firefighters complete their requirements to pass their probationary period. As such, and in light of the current situation regarding the pandemic, we ask that they be recognized by being sworn in virtually at the village board meeting on February 23rd, with an official ceremony to take place in person at a later date. As noted, both of the following paid on-call firefighters have successfully completed their probationary period requirements and testing. Each has completed the Basic Operations Fire Academy, becoming state certified firefighters, and also completing emergency medical services training in their licensed EMTBs. They have also been tested on general knowledge of policies, standard operating guidelines, apparatus and equipment, and passed the practical driving and pumping tests for our fire apparatus. Each of the following personnel were hired as candidates on July 9th, 2018. Firefighter Matthew Carey lives with his wife and children on Homestead Road and is currently assigned to Fire Station number 2. Firefighter Chris Soninka lives with his mother and siblings on Scottsdale Road and is currently assigned to Fire Station number 1. Of note is that both of his parents served on our department in the past, his father as a lieutenant and his mother as a firefighter. Also, his Uncle John currently serves as captain. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Chief Magus. Chief?
As most of you know, but as a reminder, being on our department takes a lot of dedication. Most people, or most of our employees on our department have other jobs, have their family to take care of, and other responsibilities, and still need to complete a good amount of training just to get to this point tonight, which both of these gentlemen did. Their service to the community, as with all of our employees, is critical. Being a paid on-call department, they rely on us, the community, and their commitment to this training and getting to this point is really good, well deserved, and a very good achievement. Unfortunately, as you know, we've done in the past with COVID, we like to do this in person and do a couple of ceremonial things, but we can't. But for those who are listening, if their families are on there, the recognition is the same. It's still as important as if we did this in person, even though we can't do some of the ceremonial type things. We do, we'll see how it pans out, but we do plan on coming together at a point in the future with those who have been sworn in or promoted over the last few months during COVID to kind of recognize them in another manner, more official manner. So I guess I'm babbling on for a while. I don't know if they can. I think I saw Chris Seneca for a second. I'm not sure if Matt Carey has access to a video, but if they can pop on here. Megan, I don't remember how we did this in the past, if you read or you have them read individually, or if they just say that they do.
Chief, I'll read just a real quick oath of office, and
Okay.
then both candidates just raise their right hand and say "I do" when I'm done reading the oath of office.
Great.
Are we ready for that?
Yeah, I don't see Chris yet. He was here, but he disappeared. Now we got Matt.
He's there. He's there. I see him.
Hello?
Good evening, everybody.
There he is.
I think it's working. Okay.
Okay, so we're good
Chris,
to go.
we'll
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead, even though we can't see you yet, but if you could try and pop in to wave hi, but we'll go ahead with the oath. I think he's on.
Okay, all right, thanks, Steve. Okay, so like I said, I'll read the oath of office, and each of you can attest by saying "I do" at the end. And if you can just please raise your right hand if I'm reading the oath. Do you hereby
There we go.
solemnly swear that you will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and faithfully carry out all the duties imposed upon and entrusted in you in your appointed position within the fire department of the Village of LaGrange Park, Cook County, Illinois? If so, say "I do."
I do.
I do.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Again, thanks for getting to this point, putting the work in. I know it was a lot of scrambling at the end to knock it out, and a lot of time commitment, but we look forward, obviously, to your service here and your continued help in our village and to our department. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, sir.
Firefighter Carey and Soninka, thank you for your contributions and your dedication to our community, and look forward to working with you. And on behalf of the village board and staff and our village entirely, congratulations and thank you for being out there and keeping us safe.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Next is public participation. Would anyone care to address the board? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Megan?
Thank you, Mr. President. The items on this evening's consent agenda are as follows. A, approval of minutes. 1, village board meeting, January 26, 2021. 2, village board work session meeting, February 9th, 2021. 3, executive session meeting, February 9th, 2021. B, action, motion to authorize the president and chairperson of the finance committee to sign the register of bills and authorize the treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in payment of operating bills and salaries as itemized in the check registers. C, action, motion to authorize the village treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in the payment of payroll and other bills that become due between this date and the next village board meeting, with subsequent approval of the payroll register and voucher register by the Board of Trustees at its next meeting.
Motion to approve consent agenda is presented.
So move.
Have a motion,
Second.
a second. Motion and a second. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Casera,
Yes.
Trustee Lautner,
Yes.
Trustee Zora,
Yes.
Trustee Seidel,
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, moving on to village manager's report. Julia?
Thank you, Mr. President. For my report this evening, I just have one item that I wanted to report upon, and that is the opportunity to introduce all of you to Maggie Jar, our new Assistant Village Manager. So Maggie is up here on the screen. She's getting a round of applause for those of you that are on the call. For those of you that can't see Maggie, she's smiling, she's saying hello, and we look forward to the opportunity in the future where you will have the chance to meet her in person, all of you. As the board may recall, back in October, our former assistant village manager left us and to take a position for the village of Glen Ellen. and the village engaged in a formal recruitment process through GovHR USA. We had over 80 applications for this position, which was an excellent response. There were many talented folks that threw their hat into the mix. And after a very regimented process, we selected Maggie Jar. She was our top selection, so we welcome her to the new role. Maggie comes to the position after working 6 years at the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. Many of us know that to be CMAP. At CMAP, Maggie most recently served as a senior planner. And before that, she was an associate planner, where she worked with municipalities across northeastern Illinois to address transportation, housing, economic development, open space, zoning, funding, and other governance issues. Additionally, and very noteworthy in her role at CMAP, she served as an embedded planner for 2 years for the village of Sauk Village. Prior to her time at CMAP, Maggie worked as a community outreach coordinator for Land and Bone Architects in Chicago. She has a Master of Urban Planning and Policy from the University of Illinois at Chicago and a bachelor's degree in Architectural Studies from the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. Maggie grew up in Western Springs in Indian Head Park, just happens to grow up in the area. She's very familiar with this area. She's a graduate of Lyons Township High School. Her first day with us was on February 16th, and she's looking forward to getting to know everyone, but I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm going to introduce Maggie and let her speak for herself. So welcome, Maggie. We're so glad that you're here with us. It's been fun so far, so thank you.
Thank you, Julia, for that introduction. And good evening, President DeCipio and trustees. I just want to express how excited I am to be joining this very, very dedicated team at Village Hall, and to say that I'm really looking forward to getting to know each of you remotely or virtually at first, but hopefully eventually safely in person, and that there's great things ahead, and I'm excited to be a part of all the future successes of the village and getting to know you all. Thank you.
Maggie, just knowing you a little bit from the other day, talking with you, and then tonight and speaking with Julia, it's a privilege to have you here. Where'd you go? There you are. Shucks it on me. It's a privilege to have you aboard, and you said team, and that's exactly what this is. We have a great team. You are a member of our family now, and we look forward to working with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other trustees want to make any comments? Trustee Lautner.
Just to welcome Maggie to the staff and to the village, and looking forward to getting to know you, and very impressive credentials that you bring, and I'm looking forward for you have tall shoes to fill or big shoes to fill, there's no question, but with your background and your experience, I'm sure you'll be an instant success. So welcome to the village.
Thank you, trustee.
Trustee Zora.
Sure,
President
I'll say welcome, and we're very happy to have you on board, and hopefully soon we'll get to actually meet in person. So good luck.
Thank you.
Trustee Casero.
Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned probably two of the most important things in being a resident, a leader, and part of our village, and that is family and team. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Casero. Trustee Seidel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say welcome, and I concur with everything that's been said. So welcome aboard. We're very happy to have you.
Thanks so much.
And Trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Maggie, welcome to LaGrange Park. Post-COVID times equal great times in the future coming to LaGrange Park. So I'm glad you're part of the team. Welcome and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Sheehan. Is that all, Julia, for your report?
That concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
You probably had the most important item on the agenda tonight. Okay, moving on, Administration Committee, Trustee Seidel.
Thank you, Mr. President. The administration report for this evening, the vaccination update. As a reminder, residents who are interested in receiving the vaccine should register with the county at vaccine.cookcountyil.gov. Individuals without internet access or who need assistance scheduling can call 833-308-1988 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Cook County is currently in Phase 1B of the vaccination plan, which includes frontline essential workers and residents aged 65 and over. In speaking with the local hospital as well as the county, it is our understanding that vaccines are currently in very short supply and a timeline for delivery of new vaccines for initial distribution is unknown. Next, the mail delivery delays. The village is aware that residents are experiencing various issues with mail service. Recent articles have indicated that the U.S. Postal Service system has been strained by the impact of COVID-19 on its workforce, significant increase in online shopping during the pandemic, and recent weather conditions. Residents are encouraged to direct complaints to their legislative representatives. Please visit the village's website at www.lagrangepark.org for more information. Arbor Day nominations. National Arbor Day is Friday, April 30th. The village is accepting nominations to plant a tree in honor or in memory of a person or group that has made a positive contribution to the community or whose achievements deserve special recognition. To submit nomination, please visit the village's website to download a nomination form or contact Sandy Backlich for more information. Nominations will be accepted through April 16th. The tree will be planted in a public space, in a park, parkway, etc. during a public ceremony, and a small plaque mentioning the honoree will be installed at the base of the tree. Village phone system. Staff is working with our phone consultant in complying and organizing data regarding our existing system to assist with the development of an RFP for a new cloud-based VoIP system. That is the administration report, and then there is one item tonight for discussion and action, Comcast Enterprise Services Master Services Agreement, MSA. Purpose: to seek Village Board approval to enter into a 3-year Master Service Agreement with Comcast Enterprise Services for direct Ethernet connection for Internet services. General background: the Village is working with Sound Incorporated to identify the needs for a new cloud-based voice-over Internet protocol phone system. The FY21 budget includes $56,500 in funding to replace the village's aging phone system. The Village Hall phone system was originally installed in 2001 and was updated over the years, but has now reached the end of its useful life. The village's current phone system utilizes PBX, or Private Branch Exchange, a private telephone network internally and then connects externally through AT&T telecom infrastructure. Transitioning to a VoIP system will likely require a more robust internet service than what we currently use. Comcast Business Class at 150 Mbps, a shared internet connection. In evaluating options with Sound Incorporated, staff recommends that we transition to a dedicated, not shared, fiber connection at 200 Mbps. This new internet connection would support both the new VoIP phone system and our current internet needs. Sound Incorporated sound proposals from 3 companies, and Comcast was the least expensive. This new connection will require construction from the existing Comcast infrastructure to the inside of the Village Hall building. Comcast anticipates that construction will take 90 to 120 days. The attached service agreement includes a monthly internet charge of $830. This is an increase from the current $300 a month with Comcast Business Class. Because this is a dedicated connection, it has much greater security, reliability, and more bandwidth. Additionally, we hope to offset the increase with reduced costs of the VoIP system. Recommendation, staff recommends that the village board authorize the village manager to sign the agreement. This item is for discussion and action, and at this time, I make a motion to authorize the village manager to enter into a 3-year master services agreement, MSA, with Comcast Enterprise Services for Ethernet Internet Services.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, discussion, trustee Segal.
Thank you, Mr. President. This has been discussed over the years. It is in the budget. I am in full support. It is needed. It adds additional security, and there are a lot of positives out of this. So I think it's much needed, and I am in full support.
Thank you, trustee Segal. Trustee Zora?
Thank you, Mr. President. As Trustee Seidel said, we have been talking about this for a long time, and it is necessary. I just had a question. I didn't see, what were the other numbers that came in? Because I know that it said that there were other vendors.
The other numbers, I can answer that question. I was just looking at the screen, Trustee Zora. So the other numbers that came in were AirSpring, which is a Comcast reseller at $1,014 a month. Nitel came in higher than AirSpring. And then we received 3 quotes from Comcast. The initial quote was at $895. The second quote from Comcast was $870, and then the final and third quote through Sound Incorporated was $830 a month.
So why did Comcast end up reducing it when they kept providing pricing? Do you know?
I think it's because of their because they were working with Sound Incorporated. I think the initial quote that we got at $895 was very early on in the process when we were looking at both potentially the phone system through Comcast as well as the dedicated Ethernet connection. The second quote came in at $870 in an official form beyond the presentation. And then the final quote was actually through Sound Incorporated, being a telephone and video and audio consulting firm. They were able to secure better pricing.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I'm in favor of this. I just wanted those couple of questions answered. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee Zora. Trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing other to add other than I support this.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Trustee Casera?
Full support, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Casera. Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. I support, but I did have a clarification question unless I missed it. How are they handling training?
The training for the new dedicated Ethernet connection?
Yes.
Well, our relationship with Sound Incorporated, they're going to be providing support and overseeing the whole project from the installation of the dedicated fiber through the installation of the phone system. So any knowledge that we are going to need in order to understand the system, reboot it if necessary, understand any equipment that would divide the toggle or switches between a phone system and an internet, which I am anticipating would be automatic, but any knowledge that we would have to know as staff, we could get that information through Sound Incorporated as the installation takes place. The installation will involve construction through the back parking lot with the connection coming into the building, terminating in the IT room that we currently have. So the equipment will be located close to us. So with any new piece of equipment, including the Comcast business that we currently have, which has been good, over the years, but we have experienced a lot of intermittent interruptions and in some cases, some outages, and is a less reliable option for us. We have worked with Comcast and AIS in the past to understand what we need to do to get it back up and running into the future. Because this contract is being facilitated through sound, we'll make sure that we get that training and that knowledge through sound as well as Comcast.
Will there be additional charges as a result of that, or is that part of the deal, so to speak?
No, this is really our internet infrastructure that is a connection into the building. It's the highway, so to speak, for which our existing internet will run off of that, and the phone system will run off of that as well. But any new equipment that gets installed into the IT room, into the room that we use, that equipment is something that we really need to be knowledgeable about in the event that it is not working. And for us, the most critical point is really understanding where the equipment will exist, what do we need to know, who do we need to call in case if there's a failure. The contract guarantees a response time of being up and running in 4 hours. That's the guarantee that they provide. So that's something that we will watch, and on average, they can guarantee that services, well, on average, their experience is that the internet connection will be back up and running in 3 hours on average. That's the response time. So we're going to make sure that we know what we need to know with this new infrastructure.
That's 24/7 support.
It is 24. I think that's a great question. And yes, it is 24/7 support, and that's important to us. Year after year, we come to rely upon our data and internet connection more and more each time. So with the technology that we're utilizing in all departments, it's imperative for us. And I think Chief Contois can certainly speak to that over the last few months. It's imperative to us that we have a very strong and reliable and secure connection for our data. So yeah, those are all very good questions.
Okay, thank you. I would.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Kucera,
Yes.
Trustee Lautner,
Yes.
Trustee Zora,
Yes.
Trustee Seidel,
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can you hear me okay? I just wanted to let you know that we received a comment in the chat room that there is a caller or an attendee that had intended on mentioning something during public comment, but it moved so fast they couldn't get the comment out. So I wanted you to be aware that there was a public comment.
Did you want to share that with us now, or?
The caller is on, so we would just need for them to turn their microphone on to provide the comment.
Hello?
Hello, caller. Is your technology working okay for you to provide your comment? There may be some technical difficulties.
Yeah, this is me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Could you
Okay.
please state your name?
I'm Karen Westfall. I live over on Homestead.
Okay.
Okay. You know, we've had some issues lately with the Jewel, and I know I have contacted some people at the village. You know, lately, even with the snow removal, you can't even walk on the sidewalks over there. And I've talked to the manager several times about it, and he said it's not his responsibility, that it's whoever they rent from. And I've talked to the other neighbors about it too. They haven't been very good neighbors lately. My daughter tripped behind the store walking because you can't even get there by foot. A lot of garbage from them. The fence they put up is falling down. I just don't know why they, and the garbage from them. I feel like they don't have to follow rules of being a good neighbor, and they allow trucks to park there overnight. I just don't know why they don't have to follow any rules, and we live in a nice village here.
Well, thank you for bringing that forward, Karen. I know Julia's writing everything down, and we'll jump on it right away because that's not what we want. So thank you for bringing it forward. Julia, did you have any comment?
Yeah, aren't I expected to clear the snow off of my sidewalk so that people can pass? I don't know. Is that a?
Yes, we would all like that to happen, certainly.
And a couple weeks ago, their lights were flashing from their overhead lights, and I called over there and I said, "Are you guys going to address this?" They're like, "Oh, we'll get to it when we can." And I said, "Well, I'm your neighbor." I said, "How would you like me flashing lights into your house at night?" They don't seem to care. And I've when I address about all the garbage over there that comes into my backyard and my trees, they'll send a kid out one day and then the garbage reaccumulates. I don't know. It's just, I feel like they can do whatever they want. And I've talked to other neighbors. They've asked me to go on and talk about it because they're sick of it too.
No, we're very grateful that you brought that forward, Karen. And no, they're not above us either. So they have to follow the same laws and rules that all our residents have to. So I know Julia and Rick and everyone will jump on it. And we have contacts over that we can certainly work with and make sure that these things are cleared up.
I contacted Corporate Jewel several years ago to get that new fence up because I went above them and they found money and they put it up. But now the fence is falling down already.
Karen, I would encourage you or the neighbors to, when things like this come up, please certainly call Julia as quickly as possible so we can rectify it right away.
Okay. Yeah, I did reach out to someone on the website, and I can't look at my notes because I'm on my iPhone at this time, but I had the gentleman's name that I contacted. I don't know if he's with the zoning or whatever, the person that gives, enforces he just said they're renters. And so I guess what I understand is, so if I'm renting my house, I don't have to follow any rules of, that you guys don't let us park an RV in the driveway. We have certain rules of being a village or a community, and, they idle their trucks behind my house. I knew the Jewel was there when I moved here, 18 years ago, but they idle the trucks. Then over the weekends, they're allowing, I think, probably members of our community that have semis to park back there. And I can understand once in a while there being an emergency, but it seems to be a regular thing. The one day there were 3 trucks parked back there.
Yeah. So again, I would just encourage you to write these down. Make sure Julia gets this information.
Okay.
And stay on top of it with us and help us, because we'll get out there and certainly work with them and let them know our displeasure.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. And I know Julia will follow up with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, moving on to Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report the building department activities for January of 2021. 41 permits were issued in January compared to 26 issued in January 2020. Estimated construction costs for the month were just over $1 million, which is more than double what the costs were in January 2020. Permit fees collected were over $21,000, also slightly more than double compared to last January. 125 inspections were conducted this past January compared to 84 in 2020. 3 inspections were not approved. The new owner of 23 East 31st Street closed on the building this month, and staff issued a permit for interior demolition. Patrick has had various discussions with him regarding the next steps and explained the approval process to open his business. At this point, the owner indicated he would most likely open in August. A health inspection for various occupancy was conducted for Enos, with some additional movement made towards opening. In various discussions Patrick has had with the owner, it appears that they still plan to open this location and hopefully are getting closer. Our contracted code enforcement officer has been working with Patrick on a project to identify and address various code concerns and violations with the village market. Permits and engineering drawings were submitted for the Murphy's Addition project. Plans are being developed for the vacant lots on 414 through 418 East 31st for what at this point appears to be 2 new single-family dwellings. The Community Park District received zoning approval at the PZC meeting in January and subsequently by the village board for the construction of their new fitness court. They hope to break ground in March and be completed by July. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
And thank you, Trustee Zora. Moving on to Engineering Capital Projects Committee, Trustee Zora.
Yes, I will also do the report for engineering capital projects for January 2021. Phase 2 of the 2020 sewer lining project was completed by Visu Sewer of Illinois. Approximately 47 feet of 10-inch, 12-inch, and 15-inch sewers were cleaned and lined with a flexible liner to create a smooth and durable repair. After the lining operation was complete, each sewer service connection was cut open to reestablish flow from each property. The contractor will submit a video documenting the final installed liner with the restored service connections. In January, the village board approved extending an existing sewer cleaning and televising contract with Sewer Tech LLC for the 2020 sewer cleaning and televising project maintenance in the village. After completion, the contractor will provide videos and data logs of all the sewers inspected. This information will be reviewed to determine if any sections of the sewers need point repairs or are good candidates for the sewer lining. Design work has started for the 2021 sewer repair program. This project involves point repairs on sewers located throughout the village that were identified by recent televising and cleaning projects. The sewer sections identified for repair represent isolated segments of sewers that need replacement. And that's all for engineering and capital projects.
Thank you, Trustee Zora, for giving that report.
Sure.
Moving on to Public Safety Committee, Trustee Lautner.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the public safety area this evening, I have 2 reports and 2 items for discussion and action. First, the reports, and first from the police department area. Total number of crimes for the first month of 2021 are significantly than last year, with 83 incidents reported this year compared to 28 in 2020. 70 of those crimes were fraudulent unemployment claims. Traffic enforcement is at 182 total tickets issued through January of 2020. Overall police activity is slightly lower to last year, with 698 total incidents reported through January of 2021 compared to 789 total incidents through January of 2020. Mark your calendars and do not miss out on the upcoming police department special events. And that's subject to the pandemic pending, of course. First of all is restarting of the Citizens Police Academy, hopefully. Saturdays, April 3rd through May 8th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the village boardroom. Please contact Officer Chris Dempsey at 708-352-7711, extension 275 for further information. Or you can contact him through his email address, cdempsey@lagrangepark.org. You may pick up applications at the police department window during normal business hours. And the second event is Coffee with the Chief and Staff, which is scheduled for Saturday, May 15th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Memorial Park Bench Shell, which is right next to the Panera. And to announce, after 34 years of dedicated service to this village, Sergeant Felix Hernandez has submitted his letter of retirement from the police department effective July 7th, 2021. And there will be more information coming forward here to become available closer to his date of retirement. We're looking forward to that, and it's been a long career for Officer Felix Hernandez. Please follow the police department on our Facebook page at LaGrange Park Police Department, our Twitter account at LaGrange Park PD, and Instagram at LaGrange Park PD. And as always, a friendly reminder to our citizens about securing one's personal property at all times. Please lock your vehicles and residences, especially during overnight hours. If you are going on vacation, please utilize the new online vacation watch portal frontlinepss.com/LaGrange Park, or log into the village website and access the portal under the police department page. If you do not have internet access, feel free to fill out a vacation watch card at the police department between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. And from the fire department area, for the month, EMS incidents this month were at 135, and that compares to 157 in the first month of 2020. Fire rescue incidents this month were at 33, and that compares to 40 in the first month of 2020. Our pandemic program began in January of 1981, 40 years ago. As such, our village president and village board recognized this milestone with a proclamation read at the January village board meeting. 5 of our personnel completed EMTB licensure in the month, and 2 others are currently enrolled in EMT school at Triton College. There are 5 new paid-on-call firefighters were recently hired, and they began training in the fire academy. New carbon monoxide meters were replaced in service on all of our fire apparatus this month, which were purchased by our fire department foundation. Most firefighter EMTs and firefighter paramedics, pardon me, who were interested were able to obtain their second doses of COVID vaccine during the month as part of 1A group. Many discussions continued throughout the month regarding plans for additional clinics to open for the public and the potential of using local paramedics to help staff. Personnel participated in a very short car parade to support a family who has a toddler that was undergoing a kidney transplant, and we received a thank you note for that, of course. Both fire stations were staffed twice overnight during the month due to winter storm warnings. And 4 significant events noteworthy for the month is on the 8th of January. They responded to the odor of natural gas next to the village market in the north building. Firefighters checked the interior and found slight readings. NICOR responded, and in consultation with them, fire companies returned, and NICOR was going to conduct additional follow-up. On the 10th of January, we responded to a report of odor of plastic burning in a home in the 1000 block of Barnstead. Upon investigation, a bundled up pile of towels was found burning in a back room of the home. Also on the 10th, busy day, responded to a home in the 600 block of Sherwood for a garbage can on fire next to the house, which was burning the exterior wall of the home. And on the 22nd of January, they responded with a truck and an investigator for the fire inside a large commercial structure in the 4800 block of Lawndale in McCook. And we have a couple of items for discussion and action. Once I get to that. The first one is regarding the Fire Academy tuition payment. The general background on that is that the fire department conducted a recruitment process last fall and hired 5 new paid-on-call firefighter candidates, each of whom required training to become state certified firefighters. A decision was made that they would attend a program run by the Romeoville Fire Academy, but with classroom sessions taught locally at the Riverside Fire Department on weeknights and practical training sessions taking place at the Fire Academy training site in Romeo on most Saturdays. The academy started in mid-January and will run through May. We have had good success with this program in the past. The tuition for each candidate is $3,000. And with 5 candidates, the cost, of course, is $15,000. This item is being brought to the village board as formality for processing the payment as the cost exceeds our village manager's spending authority. So the recommendation from staff is that we pay the $15,000 to Romeo Fire Academy for the 5 personnel to attend the Basic Ops Fire Academy. And of course, there was a copy of the invoice that was included as part of our packet. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment of the $15,000 to the Romeo Fire Academy for 5 personnel to attend the Basic Operations Fire Academy.
Second.
There a motion and a second discussion, trustee Laudner?
I think, we certainly need to approve this. We've had good success with them. They do a good job, and we certainly need the candidates to be trained properly. So I would certainly 100% support this.
Thank you, trustee Laudner. Trustee Seidel?
Thank you, Mr. President. As trustee Lautner said, it is a necessary expense.
We need it, and I am in full support.
Thank you, trustee Seidel. Trustee Zora.
I'm also in full support.
Thank you, trustee Zora. Trustee Sheehan.
Full support, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Trustee Casera.
Concur, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Casera. Chief, did you have anything to add? Chief Magus?
No, it's, unfortunately, we have to come to you after the fact because we're usually right up against our hiring timeline by the time we know how many we're going to get in the academy. We apologize for that.
No, that's okay, Chief. Thank you. And then maybe at some point the board consider maybe raising Julia's spending authority a little bit because it certainly should be something she should be able to do. Megan, call the roll, please.
Trustee Casera,
Yes.
trustee Lautner,
Yes.
trustee Zora,
Yes.
trustee Seidel,
Yes.
trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Continue, trustee Lautner.
Thank you, Mr. President. And the second item for discussion and action is regarding the occupational medical evaluations that we provide for our fire department folks. Fire department continues to utilize Health Endeavors SC to perform annual occupational medical evaluations for employees. These medical evaluations are used to determine fitness for duty in accordance with the requirements of NFPA 1582, Standard on Comprehensive Occupational Medical Program for Fire Departments. These evaluations are also used to comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Act's standard OSHA for respiratory protection, 1910.134, as adopted by the Illinois Department of Labor for state and local government workers. Most of the medical evaluations for incumbent personnel completed last summer, with an additional one completed in January at a cost of $10,809. This budget year, we had budgeted $15,000 for such for incumbent personnel. Although we budget for this expenditure, the exact annual costs are usually not known until the medical evaluations are complete. And that's due to the requirements as noted in the standard. The extent of the medical evaluations vary by year, depending upon the age of the employee, and in some cases due to the results of their lab work or actual physical examination. We also have some paid on-call employees who receive an equivalent evaluation at their full-time employer in a particular year, and as such, they cannot be subject to our on-site evaluations in a given year. Staff certainly recommends payment of the $10,800 to Health Endeavors SC of Lombard, Illinois for this fiscal year's annual occupational medical evaluations. And of course, our documentation in our packet was included for the invoice and the Health Endeavors bio and history. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment of $10,800 to Health Endeavors SC of Lombard, Illinois for this fiscal year's annual occupational medical evaluations.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion, trustee Lautner.
Very similar. This is a requirement to ensure that we have the health and safety of our folks that are going out there to represent the department, and this is what we need to do, and it's a regulation. So I clearly support it.
Thank you, trustee Lautner. Trustee Seidel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, a necessary expense, and I'm in full support.
Thank you, trustee Seidel. Trustee Zora.
I am in full support.
Thank you, trustee Zora. Trustee Sheehan.
Full support, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Trustee Casera.
Full support, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Casera. Julia, one quick question. Is this something that we would go before the board anyway, or is it again a case of over your $10,000 limit of spending approval?
The issue is the payment that is beyond my authority, correct?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the issue here, right? I mean,
What's
not the
that?
issue, but the reason it's before us is not because of the content, but because it exceeds your capacity to approve.
If there's a contract involved, in many cases, we will take a contract for any type of service or any commitment before the village board after the village attorney has reviewed it.
Okay, so this may have been brought before us anyway, regardless of the number, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Okay, so Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Kucera,
Yes.
trustee Lautner,
Yes.
trustee Zora,
Yes.
trustee Seidel,
Yes.
trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you, trustee Lautner.
And thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the reports and items for discussion and action from the public safety area this evening. Thank you.
And moving on to Public Works Committee, trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Works winter operations became increasingly busy with numerous events throughout January. Crews worked in shifts, plowing and salting roadways to maintain safe and passable road conditions. Staff was able to anti-ice roads only once this month due to pavement temperature and difficult weather patterns. Public Works repaired one 6-inch water main break. Staff ran a new fiber line across from the DPW garage, along with 5 Cat 5 lines to upgrade our network and make our security system functional. Crews were out filling potholes throughout the town as weather allowed time to do so. Pothole repair continues indefinitely. Employee Matt Smith attended a virtual 3-day class on basic water operation in preparation to obtain a Class C water operator in the future. Staff has done a great deal of maintenance to our snow fleet and equipment to keep everything fully functional and operating properly. Water meters were read in section 1. 15 monthly bacterial samples were taken along with stage 2 quarterly samples. Various water and sewer work orders were completed along with resident concerns and general construction inquiries. Numerous water and sewer service calls were completed along with your appointments and duly locates. Routine maintenance of the department's fleet and equipment was performed, as well on police and fire vehicles. I have one action item, Mr. President. Hopefully we won't need too much more of this. 2020-2021 salt purchase contract, the open purchase order. Public Works is seeking approval from the village board to have an open purchase order with Cargill Incorporated Salt Division for the purpose of bulk road salt in an amount not to exceed $33,000. The State of Illinois Central Management Services solicited bids for rock salt back in fall of 2020. On November 17, 2020, the village was informed that Cargill Incorporated Salt Division was awarded the 2020-2021 bulk rock salt contract at $52.32 per ton. The village is required to take a minimum purchase of 480 tons, 80% of 600, of salt at the contract price of $52.32 a ton, which would be a total cost of $25,113.60. The village can purchase a maximum of 720 tons, or 120% of 600, at a total cost of $32,670.40. In this year's fiscal budget, the village has budgeted in the MFT fund services number 04405532, $75,000 for salt. Staff is recommending board approval of an open purchase order not to exceed $33,000 with Cargill Incorporated Salt Division for the purpose of salt at tonight's meeting. Therefore, Mr. President, motion to approve an open purchase order with Cargill Incorporated Salt Division not to exceed an amount of $33,000.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. sure Public Works Director Ratty has the situation under control as far as what he needs. I support this and have no problem.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Trustee Casera?
Thank you, Mr. President. In complete agreement, and I'd like to thank Trustee Ratty for his work. I work up north, I'm sorry, and on that Saturday morning, our streets and side streets were better than the main streets. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee Casera. Trustee Seidel?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm in full support.
Trustee Zora?
I'm in full support.
And trustee Lautner?
I support. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Lautner. Rick, any comments?
Yeah, but when's this winter gonna end? It's been it's crazy winter where, we almost went through almost all of January with nothing, and then it's just, God's just started unloading on us. So kudos to my guys and all the time that they've been working. And, I sort of missed this last round, and John Jandik did a great job at leading this team during that time. So kudos to him. A lot of towns have been run out of salt. The trucking has not been the best this year with Cargill. Unfortunately, we don't have any control over that, but I think everybody was trying to order it at once, and that's what really bogged them down. And then with the cold temperatures, they had some truck issues as well. So we've been good. We ended up getting that big load last year that we had to take, and we were fully stocked. We still have about 100 tons that should last us for a while. I am going to go ahead and place an order tomorrow just to get that in the queue. Hopefully we don't need it, but I'll start getting it here and just getting the line. So appreciate everybody's kind words this winter season, and thank you all.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Casera? Trustee Casera? Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Casera? He may have stepped to the bathroom.
Okay. Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously with.
Trustee Casera, yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, then it passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you, trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes Public Works.
Thank you. And moving on to Finance Committee, trustee Lautner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a report, of course, and one item for discussion and action. The report this evening summarizes the village's general fund financial performance through January 31st of 2021, and we have completed now 9 months of fiscal year 2021, which began on May 1st, runs through the end of April 2021. And here's the report. Fiscal year to date, general fund revenue is at 72.3% of the annual budget and about $392,000 or 6.6% greater than the prior year. Property tax receipts are up $5,300 or 0.3% compared to the prior year. Other local taxes are higher by about $38,000 or 3.5% due primarily to sales tax, which is up 19% compared to the prior year, although telecommunications tax, again, is down 21.8%. License revenue is down about $24,000 or 7.8% from the prior year, primarily due to the postponement of vehicle and dog license sales in response to the coronavirus. Permit receipts are up 43.9% or about $80,000 compared to the prior year. Intergovernmental receipts are higher by about $422,000 or 28% compared to last year, primarily due to CARES Act funding received through county. Income tax is 2.1% higher than last year, while use tax is up about 41%. Charges for services are down about $29,000 or 8.3% due primarily to lower ambulance fee collections compared to last year. And fine revenue is about $2,000 or 1.6% higher than the prior year. Miscellaneous revenue is about $102,000 lower than last year due to the steep drop in interest and the end of the Midwest reimbursement. And total general fund expenditures, including the transfer to the capital projects fund, are at 68.2% of the annual budget and about $116,000 or 1.9% lower than last year. And I have one item for discussion and action regarding updating our authorized signers for the village financial accounts. The village maintains accounts with financial institutions for the purposes of depositing and investing village funds, as well as utilizing general banking services such as checking for accounts payable and payroll. With the recent addition of Maggie Jar, welcome Maggie Jar, as assistant village manager, it is necessary to update the authorized signers for the village's financial accounts. 2 signatures are required on village accounts payable and payroll checks. Normally, those 2 signers are the finance director / village treasurer and the village clerk. If either or both are unavailable, the assistant village manager or deputy village clerk may sign. The attached ordinance designates the village's currently approved financial institutions and lists the authorized signers for village accounts. Of course, staff recommends approval of the attached ordinance at tonight's meeting. And our documentation in our packet did include the ordinance that designates village depository and financial institutions that I trust everyone took a look at, and the authorized signers. So I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance designating village depository and financial institutions and authorized signers for the village of LaGrange Park.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion, trustee Laudner.
In compliance with the ordinance and to accommodate the new staff addition, then I would certainly support this.
Thank you, trustee Laudner. Trustee Seidel?
Thank you, Mr. President. We go through this every time we can have the changeover of staff. I am in full support.
Thank you, trustee Seidel. Trustee Zora?
I am in full support.
Trustee Zora. Trustee Sheehan?
Full support, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Trustee Casero?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have worked for MB Financial and other competing financial institutions. And the fact that I'm licensed, I need to remand myself. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Casero. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner,
Yes.
trustee Zora,
Yes.
trustee Seidel,
Yes.
trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President, with trustee Casera not voting on this motion.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you, trustee Laudner.
And not to steal your thunder, Mr. President, I'll ask Mr. Knoller if he has anything to add to any of the reports.
No, I think it's been well covered. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yep.
Any questions?
All good here. Thank you, Mr. Concludes from the finance area this evening.
Thank you, Larry, and thank you, trustee Laudner. Okay, moving on to other reports. Our village clerk, Megan.
I have no report tonight, Mr. President.
Village treasurer, Larry.
No report tonight, Mr. President.
Then village engineer, Mark.
No report tonight, Mr. President.
And our village attorney, Kathy.
I have no report tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Kathy. And moving on, commercial revitalization committee, trustee Zora, would you please give?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. For the Commercial Revitalization Committee report, The new microbrewery on 23 East 31st Street was the former amusement park property and was sold to a new owner who intends to open a microbrewery. Staff is guiding the new owner through the steps needed to open his business, including development plans, obtaining permits and licenses, beginning interior renovation work. Staff will provide additional assistance as the owner prepares an application for a special use permit for outdoor dining. The application will go before the Planning and Zoning Commission in April. For Murphy's transmission and complete auto repair, the village received a building permits application for the expansion of the existing auto repair facility. Engineering and building plans are currently under staff review. Enos Tacos, the restaurant, passed Cook County Department of Public Health inspection. The owner expects the grand opening to take place in March of 2021. Village Market Code enforcement staff completed their assessment of the commercial properties along LaGrange Road and Sherwood Avenue. Staff identified a number of areas for improvement and created a list of property maintenance items to be addressed. A summary letter, including photos, will be sent to the business owners and the property management company. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Motion to approve committee and collectors reports as presented.
Approve.
Motion to
So
Okay, Megan,
moved.
call the roll.
Trustee Kucera,
Thank you. I do approve, and it is so enjoyable to report what Jamie just reported. Thank you.
Trustee Lautner,
I support, I approve.
Trustee Zora,
I approve.
Trustee Seidel,
I approve.
Trustee Sheehan.
I approve.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, moving on, I have a couple items. Proviso Mayor's had a brief phone call this morning. We've elected or decided to help support the poor folks in Texas by asking our communities to donate water. Broadview will be the site that will collect everything. They have an Allied Dam Lines company in their village that will take the water down to Texas, the SP. So that will be coming out shortly. I know that Village of Hillside is coordinating it, and they will get in touch with Julia to get some out into our e-brief so we can all support and help that. Maggie, welcome. It's a privilege and a pleasure to have you on board and our family, and we look forward to working with you. Congratulations to firefighters, Jerry and Sanika. Chief, would you please let them know again how grateful we are? And Public Works Department, again, you know, we're at home, we watch this beautiful snow come down and we hear those trucks go by and it's 9 o'clock at night, and then 3 o'clock in the morning we get up, it's still snowing and those trucks are still going by. We're in our homes, they're out there keeping our streets clean and keeping it safe for us. So Rick, please tell your crew, thank you. And Chief Contois and Chief Magus, also Public Safety, thank you for keeping us safe during these times. Any public participation? Seeing none, any new business? And maybe one item that I mentioned earlier, the board may want to consider down the road, and maybe Julia can get us a little bit of information of, you know, times have changed. I think it costs us more to do business, and so maybe Julia's spending authority should be looked at to avoid some of these
Yes.
you know, real close numbers. So we may want to look into that. Anything else? If not, Trustee Lautner, will you make a motion to move us into executive session?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body according to 5 ILCS 120/2 C1, not to return to public session again until the next scheduled village board work session at 7:30 p.m. on March 9th, 2021.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Kucera, Trustee Kucera,
Trustee Casera? Okay.
You want me to keep going?
Yes, move on, Megan, please.
Okay. Trustee Lautner,
Yes.
trustee Zora,
Yes.
trustee Seidel,
Yes.
trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. We will move into executive session. Good night, everyone, and thank you for everything you do.
Good night. Thanks.